Which is, have you ever awakened in the middle of the night feeling like somebody is watching you? Maybe you saw a shadow in the corner of the room, no face, no shape, no features, just there. Was it a ghost? Was it a spirit? Was it a demon? What was it? Today we are diving in one of the creepiest topics in the paranormal world. Shadow people. Who are they? Are they the same as ghosts? Can a witch actually send a shadow people to haunt you? Trust me, the answer may not be what you are expecting. If this is something that interests you, stick around because we're talking about it right now. Wow, which is shadow people. This video, of course, was inspired with some of you, particularly one that sent me an email just recently about their grandchild being hunted by a shadow person or shadow people. So that inspired me to finally do this video that I think it was due. It was something that I've been wanting to talk to you guys about for a very long time. And I'm very happy to bring this video to you today. And shadow people are a very complicated topic. And I'm going to try to do this as simple as possible in a short video. I don't want to overwhelm you with information. In the description of this video, I'm going to put some books that I really like, that I have read about shadow people, perhaps some videos that I think that are relevant to this topic. So please make sure to go into the description of the video and check out the links. Happy Magic Monday, witches. This is WhiteRaven, and I am here to teach you magic from my perspective. Please, if you find this information important, relevant to your life, and you would like to learn a little bit more, do not leave without subscribing to the channel, commenting and liking. That helps me a lot, and it helps the channel a lot, helps me grow, and helps me come over here every Monday and add more information to this huge channel that has over 500 videos on spells and some teaching. So please make sure to subscribe and comment. Do not leave without doing that. So what are shadow people? Shadow people are dark human-shaped figures that often appear in the corner of your eye. They can also appear in dreamland. They can also appear in dark spaces and in many other different circumstances. Unlike ghosts, they don't always seem to be connected to the dead realm, which make them in turn even creepier. They're usually silent watchers. Some just are lurking, while others really make you feel that they have evil intentions. There's many theories about shadow people. Many people say that these are interdimensional beings. Sometimes they relate them to aliens. Others believe that these are creatures that feed on fear. And many others believe that these are energy parasites. But sadly, not all shadow peoples are the same. Some of them are very scary, and some others are downright terrifying. So today I'm going to break some of them down for you. I have a list of 10 different type of shadow people, and I am not saying that there's only 10, but these are the most popular. And I'm going to share them with you, in my opinion, from least scary to the most terrifying of them all. Number 1. The flickers. These are the ones that you barely see. Like, for example, you are sitting in your living room at night watching TV, and out of the corner of your eye, you see a shadow dart. And when you look, it's not there. That's the flicker. Number 2, the watchers, the silent lurkers. My gosh, so creepy. These shadow figures, they just stand still. They even make you doubt if you're actually seeing them. You can see them in hallways, in doorways, in the corners of your room. Have you ever waken up in the middle of the night and you look at the corner of your room and you swear you are seeing someone? It's just not moving and you're questioning yourself, am I seeing these? Those, my beautiful witches, are the watchers. Those nasty lurkers. Number 3, the walkers. This is the type of shadow people that they don't care about humans. They're just transient. They just seem that they are in a matrix glitch, to put it that way. They're not interested and they just simply come in and out and just vanish into the walls. Number 4, the peeking shadows. Those nasty shadow peoples that love to play hide and seek. Those are the ones that peek at you from corners. Sometimes even from windows, you can see them through the windows. They have been described as sometimes looking like they are trying to play like tricksters, but they're pretty unsettling as well. Number 5, and now we're getting into some of the ones that are starting to be more scary. The ones that you experience while sleep paralysis. These are the witches that visit you and show up when you can move. They hover near your bed. They can press upon your chest, making it really hard to breathe. And you can see it in so many different shapes. You can see it in the shape of bugs, in the shape of aliens, in the shape of creatures that you have never seen. They are terrorizing and they love that. Number 6, the whispering shadows. The ones that you can hear and they whisper into your ear. And most times you do not even understand what they're saying because they seem to be talking a language that nobody knows. Some shadow people don't just appear. They just love to whisper in your ear, softly, eerie. At first you think it's the wind or perhaps your house settling, but then you notice a shadow standing near your doorway. What will you do, witches? Tell me in the comments down below. Number 7, and one of the most common shadow people, the red eye shadow. These are the ones that stare back at you. They're just looking at you with those piercing red eyes. That makes me always think about the Mothman. Let me know, witches. In the description down below, in the comments, tell me about your experiences. Have you ever experienced a red eye shadow people? Because people that see them report to have an overwhelming feeling and threat. A great sense of fear. It is almost as if this shadow person really enjoys terrorizing them. Number 8, the hooded figures. Those are the ones that look like cloak beings. These shadow people often look like they're wearing hooded robes or cloaks. They don't necessarily seem hostile, but their presence feels ancient and ominous. Some people believe that they are tied to the Grim Reaper, and some other people believe they are linked to monks or even ancient societies. Number 9, and to me, this is probably one of the most disturbing visions that I can get of a shadow people, and that is the crawlers. Those are the ones that move in the worst way possible. These shadow people, witches, are stuff from nightmares. They crawl on all fours across the floor, walls, or ceilings. They do not move like normal people, witches, which makes them extremely terrifying. There's a book that I'm going to link in the description of this video that has a whole chapter on the crawlers, and it is very interesting. I really suggest for you to check the books that I'm going to put in the description of the video, witches. Can you imagine you are laying down in bed and you awaken because you hear the scratching sounds, and you wake up and you look up and you see a shadow people crawling on all fours in your ceiling, just like a spider, and then you blink and they're gone. Those are the crawlers. Number 10, and perhaps the most infamous of all shadow people, the Hat Man. That one that leaves people scared for life. The Hat Man is the most feared of all shadow people. He appears as a tall figure wearing a wide brim hat and a trench coat. Unlike more shadow peoples, he often sticks around like he doesn't care that you're watching him. He sticks around, he makes sure that you know that he's there. And when he leaves you with a lasting feeling of dread. People have seen the Hat Man standing at their bedsides, in hallways, or even a reflection in a mirror, for example. You can see them when you're walking in the street at night. You can see this Hat Man pretty much anywhere. A lot of people believe that he is a high-ranking shadow entity, maybe even a demon or a troubler from another dimension. Now let's go into our next topic. Why do we see shadow people? Number 1, sleep paralysis. It seems to me that sleep paralysis is the most common moment in which people experience shadow figures. About 90% of the people that experience sleep paralysis are going to have a very awful encounter. So sleep paralysis could be a moment in which you sadly experience a shadow figure. Your mind is playing tricks. And usually that's what I tell my head when I think I see something strange. My mind is playing tricks. It has happened to me many times. Perhaps it has happened to you as well. Number 3, and something extremely common, exposure to high levels of EMF, which is electromagnetic fields. This can make people feel like they're being watched, and they can also make you feel sick, and they can even make you see things. Personally, I get sick in my stomach. Number 4, some paranormal theories. A lot of people believe that shadow beings could be interdimensional beings. They even think that they could be time travelers or perhaps a glitch of the Matrix. Who knows? Number 5, and this is the ones that pertain to witches, dark energy or curses. Some shadow figures attach themselves to negative energy, hexes, or any type of spiritual disturbances. And number 6, and by all means, these are not just 6 reasons, there's many more. These are just 6 examples. But number 6, medications. Many medications can make you see things. My aunt many years ago experienced something from nightmares while taking medications. Drugs out there could give you a really bad trip, and you can end up seeing a lot of dark shadow figures. And also, of course, alcohol. And whenever you alter your state of mind, you will expose yourself to perhaps experience an encounter with a shadow people. And now let's address it from a different perspective. Can we be the ones to blame for an encounter with shadow people? And if so, how could this happen? Number 1, and listen up, which is visiting haunted or high energy locations. If you visit a cemetery, haunted locations, battlefields, you may accidentally bring home a shadow person. These places hold residual energy, and if you're sensitive or open to this type of attachment, you're gonna bring one home with you. Number 2, something that we touched the other day in one of the videos that I shared with you, doing spiritual or occult work without proper knowledge or protection. And I'm talking about the Ouija board, I'm talking about opening any portals without properly closing them. Doing any type of summoning without properly releasing. Those are things that could open doors not only to evil spirits, but also to the infamous shadow people. Number 3, and something very real, which is exposure to extreme emotional turmoil or psychic energy. Let me explain. High emotions, trauma, or any type of energy shifts like depression, grief, or even a psychic awakening can create openings for parasitic entities, including, of course, shadow people. So if you are in a dark place mentally, they may become more visible to you. For example, and this is something that many of you guys have told me, you have a terrible breakup, very painful breakup. Perhaps when you are living through this very painful experience, you'll be able to see dark figures watching you at night. And let me tell you, this is something which is that many of you have written to me about. Number 4, which is, and this is common sense. At the end of the day, it's going to be common sense. Bringing home objects that have high attachments. Something that I have talked to you guys about as well. We go into the antique shop and we see something that we love and we bring it home and we don't even cleanse this, or we do not treat it before we bring it into our house. And the next thing we do, boom, we start seeing shadow people. If this item by any chance belonged before to someone that practiced dark magic or had very heavy energy, that object could have a shadow person attached to it. So please be very cautious when you go to antique shops and you bring things home. Number 5, encountering a shadow entity in your dreams or in astral traveling. Another thing, we have to be very careful when we do lucid dreaming or astral traveling. Since when you are through this mental state, you may have accidentally crossed into spaces where shadow people exist. And they could follow you back, which is number 6, when you live in a place that have a negative history, negative energy. Places that have tragedies, violence, murders, etc., 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 are portals and big doors for these type of beings. So needless to say, be very careful with the places that you visit or even places that you live in. Number 7, and watch out, watching or trying to learn way too much about these things. Really. This may sound weird, but when you are obsessed with this type of things, watching videos, reading, investigating, all that stuff, you expose yourself to be prone to see them. You will be more in tune, to put it that way, with this type of entities, making them noticing you in return. So be very careful with that. I mean, know what you need to know, but don't be obsessed with this type of topics. Number 8, shadow peoples that are following a hex or a curse. And this is why witches, you have to be very careful when you're doing any type of hexes and curses, grounding and cleansing after any type of dark magic. It is really important because shadow people will be attracted by any type of energy shift or any energy disturbances, to put it that way. Or if you have any type of hex put on you, particularly like generational hexes or any other type of baneful magic. If somebody has thrown a hex at you, that also in turn will make you like a beacon for this type of apparitions. Number 9, something that we already talked about, the use of any type of drugs, either medication or recreational drugs that put your state of mind in a very low level and all your guards are down. So you have to be very careful if you like to entertain yourself with any type of drugs or if you have to take any specific medications. So number 10, think about this one because a lot of you guys, including myself sometimes, are guilty of this. Lack of sleep. This is going to lead you into stress-induced apparitions. When you do not rest your physical body, that weakens your spiritual defenses, making it a lot easier for shadow people to appear. And so to resume, in order for you to avoid some of these encounters, please make sure, witches, that you protect yourself and cleanse when visiting haunted places. Always use protective magic. Set firm boundaries, specifications, instructions when you're doing spiritual work. Be very mindful of the things that you bring home. And witches, important, always take care of your energy. Can a witch send a shadow person? Absolutely yes. Yes, it is not that difficult. I have some spells over here on how to do your servitors, and you can use the servitors and they can act as shadow people. You can send night terrors to somebody that has been evil to you. And you can even give somebody a haunted object. And this is going to take me to a different perspective. Are shadow people good, bad, in between? Based on this book that I love so much by Ricksecker, A Walk in the Shadow, shadow people are not going to fit perfectly into good or bad. They seem to be all over the place depending on their behavior. Let me tell you, I really suggest that you read this book or listen to it in Audible because it has a really interesting perspective. He's going to tell you about his experience with the shadow people that he encountered when he was a child, how he saw it as a child, and how he sees it now. Very interesting perspective. Highly suggest the book. I'll link it in the description of the video. Some shadow people are going to be observers. They're just going to be looking at you, neutral. They're not going to be doing nothing except watching you. Very creepy, I know, but that's all they do. Some of them are going to be malevolent and parasitic, and I really hope I'm not butchering that word. And they're just going to be feeding out of the fear that they create on you. And some of them can even be protective and misunderstood, which is because a few encounters suggest that not all shadow people are evil. Some may even serve as guardians or warning presences. They come to warn you of something. So what do I think? Well, WhiteRaven is going to tell you that I think that they are not all evil. That's what I believe. I also believe that some of them could be travelers, interdimensional figures, residual energy, or even aliens. I also believe that some of them could have really bad intentions, like all spirits out there. And I also believe that they can be sent to you through hexes. Bottom line, to me, shadow people could be all the way from benevolent to very evil. At the end of the day, witches, trust your intuition. If it feels bad, tastes bad, smells bad, it's probably bad. So now, after talking about all this, I want to share with you your typical witchcraft ways of getting rid of the shadow people. Number 1, light chase away the darkness. So please make sure that you live in an illuminated environment. And when I say illuminated, it's not that you have to have all the lights on, but illuminated energetically speaking. It feels light in your place. Number 2, you can always burn protective herbs and resins that not only make you feel protected from dark spirits, but also elevate your energy and the way you're vibrating. That's going to add to the light in your environment. Number 3, you can use iron and some metals to create thresholds around your base in your perimeter. Number 4, you can also call upon deities, your protectors, your ancestors to always stay with you. Always remember, witches, and this is something that I like to remind you, what walks with you is very powerful. Don't ever forget that. Sometimes we feel that when we are facing all these scary things, we're walking alone. Understand that you have a whole army of ancestors walking with you. Call upon them. That's what they're there for. Number 5, which is try to reverse any type of fear that you are experiencing and take control of your situations. Number 6, salt and powders. You can use cascarilla, black salt, red brick powder, and so many other things around your perimeter. Number 7, sounds and vibration. That is so beautiful. I shared with you before that one of the best ways for you to cleanse the energy in your home, especially stagnant energy, is with sounds. You can use bells, you can use drums, you can even put mantras on your radio. You can use the crystal bowls. There's so many things that will elevate the way the energy in your home is vibrating. Use it. I think that is phenomenal. 10 out of 10. One of the best ways for you to shatter and break away stagnant energy. Number 8, you can also use candles to keep a light. Specifically in rooms that feel heavy, lights are always fantastic, and you can charge candles. You can put oils and different type of things in order to illuminate and break with the element of fire any stagnation in that particular room. Number 9, you can do banishing spells and rituals, the ones that you already know. You can go around your house, saging and banishing everything away from your home. Once you do that, then you place in turn some protective powders, perhaps amulets, and so on and so forth. However, here's a curveball for you. Shadow people are very tricky because they are not spirits, they're not ghosts, they're not even demons. At least not in the traditional sense. They do not behave like your typical hauntings. They really don't. They rarely communicate, and they don't even respond to exorcisms, for example, the way demons do. And like we said, some people believe that there are interdimensional beings, while other people believe that there are manifestations of negative energy, perhaps psychic vampires or watchers from a void. So what is the problem? They do not play by normal spiritual rules. So at the end of the day, witches, if you do not want to encounter shadow people, it is best just to avoid them. And so I'm going to give you a list of 10 things that you can do to avoid them altogether. Number 1, keep your energy strong and balanced. Learn how to ground and center. Protect your emotional state. Be very careful the things that you watch with your eyes, what you feed into your brain on a daily basis. Stay physically healthy. Number 2, do not acknowledge or engage them. Don't try to communicate with these things. Number 3, keep your living space bright and positive. Number 4, and very important, use your mirrors safely. And I only say this because a lot of people and a lot of you guys believe that mirrors can be portal. If you believe that mirrors are portals, just make sure that you close your mirrors. And you do this by drawing sigils in your mirrors, even if they're just invisible witches, and you are closing those portals. Number 5, protect your sleeping area. Keep it clean, which is, we have talked many times that cluttered spaces, messes, and all that stuff create open doors for things like dark shadow people to come through. So make sure that where you sleep is not only vibrant, and not necessarily because you have all the lights on, but it just feels bright and light. And to piggyback on that, make sure that your dream space is also protected. So if you, like me, like to communicate with the day throughout your dreams, please make sure that you use your chants before you close your eyes and you know you're going to go fall asleep. Your little chants every night of protection that the only spirits that can cross that threshold are the spirits that come from love and light. Nothing else prohibited to cross your thresholds. Number 6, use physical barriers like your powders, talismans, different charms, crystals, things like that. Number 7, avoid emanating fear and obsession, particularly towards these things, okay? Number 8, cleanse yourself and your space regularly. Number 9, limit exposure to darkness and negative spaces. And that is not only negative spaces, that is also negative people. A lot of negative people bring about with them really dark stuff. And dark shadows is one of those things. I know sometimes it's easier said than done, because if you're living with somebody that is extremely negative, it's very hard to control all that. But as much as you can, try to control negative spaces, negative situations, negativity altogether. Number 10, again, call upon higher forces. I have an encounter with a shadow figure a very long time ago, and the way I got rid of this shadow person was with light and love. I did this through the process of meditation, and I physically turned this shadow figure into a beam of light. And that was the end of that encounter. Okay, so let me finish this by giving you a little bit more information. Let's say you've done everything that we discussed here today and you're still having problems, then who do you call? It's not going to be Ghostbusters, no. But listen out. There's a few people that is highly trained in order to deal with this type of beings. Number 1, paranormal investigators, but not your everyday paranormal investigators. There's some paranormal investigators that are very well versed when it comes to shadow people. Number 2, shamans and indigenous healers. Number 3, they are root workers, experienced witches that are able to handle this type of entities. Number 4, occultists and some demonologists. Many of them are prepared to handle and to banish this type of visitations. Number 5, a lot of Catholics and spiritual workers. They're able to handle this type of situations and they'll give you a lot of support. At the end of the day, you are going to choose the one that you feel comfortable with. Also witches. And number 6, psychic mediums and astral travelers. There's a lot of psychic mediums that are able to communicate or see this type of things, and they can tell you how to remove them or how to keep them at bay. Who to avoid, because it's very important that I tell you this as well. Your basic ghost hunters is not the same as paranormal investigators. Very different. General psychics, not because you're a psychic, you're prepared to handle shadow people. And number 3, amateur spiritualists. A lot of people that said that they can do it, and in reality they don't know anything, and then you get yourself and that person in trouble. So stay clear from at least those 3 examples that I just gave you. We are done, which is, are shadow people ghosts, spirits, demons? The answer is, I don't know. But one thing is clear, which is these things really exist. If you have had an experience with a shadow person, please drop your experience in the comments. I will love to know. Tell me what you did. Tell me what happened. I really would like to know. If you are dealing with one right now, I hope you try one of the methods that I discussed in here with you. And from the bottom of my heart, which is, I wish you the best. And that's it, which is, if you like the information that I share in here with you today, do not forget to subscribe, like my channel, comment down below, check out the description of the video, and remember that you can visit me in Facebook, WhiteRaven and Witch's Lair. And also, I have a beautiful website with a lot of products for protection, WhiteRavenandWitchesLair.com, which is, it is always awesome talking to you. I love my Magic Mondays. Thank you so much for your inspiration. And remember, study, research, because knowledge is power. With all that knowledge, which is, you can do a lot of good stuff for yourself, but also you will stay so very wicked. See you Monday. Bye.